everybody, this is Loretta Macabre. I am coming today with another Scary Story Friday. They're true stories. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for everybody for their well wishes, and I appreciate everything so much. So I want to say hello to my new subscribers, my older subscribers, everybody else in between, and especially those who always comment and like my videos. I want to say thank you so very, very much. Okay, so let's get to the scary story. When my mom was young, I'd say in her 20s, she knew this couple. It was an older couple. They were like in their 50s and they never got along. They would always argue and stuff like that. So, one day, the lady, she made some red chili stew. And her husband came home and they ate and everything. And later that night, he got violently ill. So they rushed him to the hospital. And back then, there wasn't much technology. They just dealt with whatever they could deal with. And there was usually a high rate of deaths back then. But anyway, they took him to the hospital. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, and he was deathly ill. So, about 2 days later, my grandpa went, and his wife and my mom went to go visit him because they were friends of his. And they went over there and they noticed that the wife wasn't even there and he was in a room by himself. So I think my mom said it was about 6 o'clock in the evening when they went to go visit him. So they went to go visit him and they said that he was lucid, that he was talking, but he had a lot of pain in his abdominal area and he was bleeding internally and stuff. And they went into surgery and they couldn't find the source or whatever, so they closed him back up. So they went and talked with him and visited him, and I think they stayed a couple of hours, and they were asking him, well, where's your wife and stuff? And he said that, once he got to the hospital that she never came to visit him or anything, and they thought that that was very strange. So later that night, while they were visiting with him, they heard what I remember my mom telling me, it was like wailing, like a woman crying, but it like resonated through all the hospital. And then I'm not making this up. This is not a lie. She said that when they were sitting down, an owl flew into his room and landed on the railing of the bed at his feet. And it just stayed there, and it was looking at all of them, and she said that the owl was pure white. She don't know how the owl came into the hospital. They were not near any woods or anything like that. And it stayed there, she said, a good 10 minutes, and the nurses were afraid to remove it. They were afraid of it, so what they did was open his window from his room and took off the screen. And she said that that owl had stayed there for about a good 10 minutes and then it flew out the window. And then she said after it flew out the window, the room got like an ice box. It was very, very cold. And so by this time, everyone was all spooked. They were scared. They were all freaked out. And my grandpa figured it was time to leave. He got really shocked and scared, and my mom was frightened. My mom was a teenager. I think she was like 13 or maybe 12. And she says she'll never forget it. It was the creepiest thing she had ever gone through. So after that happened, they left about 20 minutes later. They were trying to figure out why that would happen. And my grandpa was a very superstitious person. Well, my whole family is. And he said that that was a sign of something bad. It was just a sign or like a prediction that something bad was going to happen. So about 2 days later, the man passed away. He passed away from internal bleeding. So his family lived out of town. So when his family found out, um, they found out that the wife didn't want an autopsy on her husband. So the family went to court and demanded they have an autopsy because they wanted to know what he died of. So the family won in court, and they did an autopsy on him. They had to exhume his body. They did an autopsy, and it found out that inside his stomach and his intestines had ground up glass from a light bulb. So they went to their house, to when the police and everything found out, they went to the lady's house and she was nowhere to be found. And it turns out that she had a boyfriend and she was at the boyfriend's house. So when she returned, the police were waiting for her, and her story was that when she had put the red chili stew on the table, the light from above where the kitchen is, right where she had put the stew, the light was right above that. She said the light bulb had burst and fell into the stew, and that she had picked it out and still served it to him. And she said she had eaten some too, which I doubt. But anyway, I guess, I don't know what happened. I don't know the story, but apparently they didn't charge her with anything. I guess she got away with it. So after everything happened, they remembered about the owl and all that, and my grandpa said that that was probably a sign that that woman had actually put ground glass in his food. So that is really scary that happened. I don't know what that lady was thinking, if it was truly an accident or not, but it seems really creepy to me, that somebody was sending them a sign, please, like, investigate this man. And luckily, the family did. Of course, nothing happened to the lady that I know of, or that I ever heard my grandpa or mom talking about. But I think that's really creepy. To me, it gives me the chills. I don't know, it's something hard to grasp, your mind to grasp onto. But I do believe in a lot of signs and superstitions and stuff like that. So if you encounter something like that, take heed in it. Don't ignore it. And always at least look into it, the signs, at least look into it. If nothing comes of it, that's okay. At least you tried. But anyway, I thought I'd share this story. It's really creepy. It's supernatural, paranormal, to me anyway. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And remember to check your surroundings, because you never know who or what followed you home. Good night. Hi everybody, this is Loretta Macabre. I am coming